Hi everybody, it's Kara. Some of you may remember seeing this card in a previous video. I showed it to you along with some others that I made using some wonderful cat scrappiness goodness. And many of you had left comments or sent me messages saying you'd like to see just a quick tutorial like I offered in the video on how to make this little pocket and tag. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It is super simple to make, but I'm going to warn you in advance. I've tried to do this video a couple times, and for whatever reason, I'm having a heck of a time explaining it to you guys. So bear with me, and hopefully I will make it clear as we go. Basically, to do this particular card, that is this particular size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, all you need is a piece of paper that is 11 inches long and 4 1/4 inches wide. Then all you really need to do is score it at 1 1/2 inches and at 5 1/2 inches, which makes it a fold in the middle of the piece of paper, and then an inch and a half down on one end, and that gets you this particular size card. And it also gets you in this particular orientation, which I would call portrait. If you wanted the card to be in this orientation, have the pocket coming up from here, basically all you would need to do would be to take a piece of paper that is 8 1/2 inches long and 5 1/2 inches wide. And again, you would score it in the middle, and for this size paper, because it's 8 1/2 inches long, that would be 4 1/4. And you can score it 1 1/2 inches from the end, and you would end up with a pocket like this, where the tag would go in this way. And I would call this a landscape orientation. The thing that, for whatever reason, is so hard for me to verbalize is that you can make this card any size you want, because it's super easy. All you need to do is decide if you want a portrait card or a landscaped card like this, just again talking about the direction of the card. And then you need to just decide what you want your finished card pocket size to be. Because basically, if you're doing a portrait card, you're doubling the length this way, like I did here, because remember this is 5 1/2 inches long, so I used an 11 1/2 inch piece of paper. Or if you want the landscaped card, you're basically doubling it this way. So remember, this one is 4 1/4. I took my paper and doubled it to 8 1/2. So you can do this with any size. Just for a portrait, double the length this way. For a landscape, double the length this way. So for example, I made a little one, a little portrait one, for a gift card holder. Same exact thing. I figured out the size that I wanted this way, and I doubled it. So this card is about, let me see, 3 3/4 inches. So if you double that, oh, that's going to make me do math awfully quickly. That is like 7 1/2-ish inches. So I would just fold that in half and then decide how far down I want my flap to go. Because obviously this is smaller. I may not want it to go down 1 1/2 inches like I did on the big card. But I just wanted to point out that you can make these any size. Just determine portrait or landscape, and then double the length depending on which kind you chose. And then just do your fold down. Once you have it, it's super easy to decorate because you can just add in little scraps of your paper. You don't even have to use a ton. You could also decorate it in, of course, other ways than pattern paper. This was just the way that I was doing it. Something like this. Adhere it all down. I use, when I make these, super thin score tape, or that, I think it's the express tape or express tape, whatever that's called. I use the 1/8 of an inch. and it holds really well. I do want to point out that these pocket cards, if you make them this way, they're a nice snug fit. So don't expect to be able to get anything too bulky in there. This is really meant for a flat tag where you can just write a sentiment or something like this little gift card that will slide right in there. Okay, I went ahead and made 3 more of these cards because I joined another swap over at Craft Happens. Let me show them to you real quick. I made one like this, just has a little tag insert. Obviously these are Halloween themed. One similar to that, just slightly different colors. And then this last one, like this. So I'm sure I made this sound way more complicated than it is, but hopefully you got the idea in watching the videos. Just make 2 choices, portrait or landscape, and then the size you want your pocket card to end up. And then you can make any any size of pocket card that you want. So hopefully you'll find that this is a versatile little card fold that you can do. This one, I did want to point out, if you use this size one to do the gift card thing, this would be totally cute, decorated up and just stuck on in its own envelope. Or you could adhere the back to the inside of a card if you wanted, and that would be a nice little touch that way. So just wanted to mention that. Sorry that this took way longer than I thought it was going to take. And again, I hope I didn't make it too complicated because it is super easy. If you have any questions because I wasn't unclear or I rambled along on this Sunday morning, then leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And as always, I hope you have a great day wherever you're at. Bye.